Greetings! If you're watching this video, then you are looking for an effective, convenient, and fast SMS messaging platform. Today I will tell you what the GATUM platform is, why you should choose it, how it works, and the basic settings to start sending traffic. So, the GATUM platform is a global platform that contains a set of tools for fast and efficient single and bulk SMS sending. Various methods of connecting customers and suppliers that are supported by the platform, namely Web, SMPP version 3.4, HTTP API, REST API, GATUM, allow you to deliver SMS to end customers through various applications or systems in a matter of seconds. The set of tools for technical configuration of traffic is selected in such a way that you can control the traffic flow through the GATUM platform as efficiently and profitably as possible. But the main advantages of working on our platform is its quick start. You no longer need to wait for support specialists to configure the server and connections. Now this process is fully automated and you just need to enter your data when registering. For this, follow the link 5minutes.gatum.io. Absolute data protection. For this, we added the ability to install the platform on the client server and all data about the client's traffic will be stored only by client. And platform flexibility. Our support and development specialists are in constant contact with clients and work to turn each individual client request into a new function on the GATUM platform, thereby simplifying the work of clients. This is just a brief description of the functionality and benefits on the GATUM platform. Now, let's move on to examining it. In order to view the platform, we will log into a demo account. By clicking on the link, you need to enter the login and password with which you registered earlier or get access from our support specialists. After authorization, you will be taken to a main page of the admin panel, dashboard. The main page of the platform, dashboard, displays information about the traffic that went through yours for today, only one day. Let's go in order. At the very top, there is a line that displays data on the connection of the suppliers and customers. The fox and human icons are responsible for this. Moderation of SMS and senders, gray and red face icons are responsible for this. The activity of customers and managers. By clicking on the gray square icon, you can see information about your connection, how many of your clients and managers are online now. And the icon with two messages shows the number of SMS in queue right now. In the same line, you can change the platform language by clicking on the flag icon and selecting the language you need. If you need it, we can add a new language to the platform. Adding a new language takes 1 business day. You can immediately log out of your admin panel by clicking on the log out icon in the upper right corner. Now let's move on to the data below. The graph on the right shows the dynamics of your traffic for today by hour. On the map below, you can see the distribution of your traffic by country. Even below is information about SMS delivery to each country. The data on the left side displays the state of your traffic at the moment. How many SMS are waiting in the queue and for moderation, what is the average of SMS speed at the moment, and how many SMS have already been sent and delivered today. In addition, your income for today is displayed here in the currencies that you have installed on your platform. It is possible to configure 1-4 currencies to the platform. This is by quickly viewing the data on the main page, you can monitor the passing traffic for today. The page updates itself every 5 minutes. Now let's move on to inspect the menu and its main sections. The first section is Profiles. Here you can create and manage clients and managers. The Clients tab displays information about all your clients. Here you create new ones, edit their profiles, etc. The Managers tab displays all your staff and freelance managers with their access level. Here you can create new one and edit them. The second section is Current Traffic. This is a section where the functionality is located, with the help of which we manage the current traffic, which is coming right now. Here you can connect aggregators, set prices for them, you can configure them in bulk, form routing rules, and etc. Moreover, in the same section, you can monitor in detail the status of your traffic at the moment. Monitor the queue, moderation, and reports. The next section is Statistic. This is the section that displays the results of your work for the entire period. Here you can analyze your achievements for the period you need, analyze the activity of your customers and suppliers, calculate the total profit, and so on. With the help of filters, it is possible to twist the data as it is convenient for you for a qualitative analysis. And the last section is Finance and Settings. These sections are intended for the technical configuration of the platform itself. Finance for setting up accounts for clients, and Settings to create and connect settings on the platform that meet your needs. This is the basic information about the platform menu. Now you can find the information you need faster. Now let's move on to a detailed examination of the GATUM functionality and start with the main one, creating and managing clients. For this, as mentioned earlier, the Clients tab in the Profiles section is responsible. Once on this page, you can see the list of all your clients and their basic data. The customers' accounts whose names are displayed in bold are main accounts. They have a balance. Those accounts whose names are displayed in regular thin font, child linked accounts. I will tell you a little more about their purpose. At the top of the page, there is a filtering that you can use to search for customers you need if you have a large list of them. You can search them by the date of registration, customer data, his status, and etc. But the most common search is by name or part of a name. This search is also available on all pages at the top of the screen. Each client line has an actions block. Each icon in this block is responsible for a specific action in the client's account. Let's consider them. Login icon allows you to enter the client panel of the platform, that is, the web panel from where the client sends the newsletters. The credit card icon or red plus sign for postpaid clients takes you to the balance management page of this client. If a red plus sign is displayed instead of a credit card, this means that the client was previously issued a loan and now the payment can only be made with a prepayment. About the prepayment mechanism and postpay, I will tell you also later. As you can see, the balance and the icon are visible only for the main users. Edit icon takes you to the client's account settings, where you can change or add new data about him. The Yin-Yang icon takes you to the page for creating a linked account, which I mentioned earlier. This functionality was developed for the convenience of controlling the client's balance. Often, when working with large clients, there is a need to create several accounts for one client. In such cases, a problem arises uneven use of balance of each of the client. But since legally this is one and the same client, it is illogical and inconvenient to separate their balances. Therefore, the mechanism of related accounts was developed on our platform. This is done so that the balance is in one place and the accountant can always conveniently and quickly maintain the client's balance, regardless of how many accounts the client has and how many of these accounts use this balance. Here you create a new name, login, and password. For the related customer account. Click on Create. Here it is. The last blocking icon, it blocks traffic from the client. This is a soft blocking. The functionality is made so that the event of technical problems or disagreements with the clients, he and your money for SMS do not burn out. Also, SMS sent during the client blocking period will be expected in the Queue of SMS tab. I will talk about this mechanism a little later. You can create a new client using the Create User button on this page. Therefore, click on Create User and fill in all the required fields about your new client. First, create a username and password. Write the first and last name of the clients. Usually this is the name of the responsible manager of the client's company. Telephone. Select the currency. You can select the currency only when creating a client. Then you cannot change it. Then enter email of customer for different notifications. A field for notifications about a small balance. Then a field for notifications when prices are updated and notifications for invoices. This is important data required to create an account for a client and start sending traffic. You can also install a manager, set the time zone if necessary, set a time range in which the client activity can take place, time of dispatch, so to speak, curfew. The function days of waiting until the formation of the report was made to predict the following situation. all SMS of this client that were sent via days of waiting and which have not yet received the final status, which are still in the status sent. The status will be set with the next field, by the default, expired. Another function is to set the priority for SMS, where 100 has a higher priority than 1000. Click on the Save button, and on this page you will see the customer you created. You can go to client's page for traffic settings by clicking on his name on the list. On the left, basic account data. Balance, currency, phone number, etc. are displayed, as well as the main actions button. All sections of the setting for this client are displayed on the right. Let's start with the first one, destinations. This is the section where you can set destination settings and the price for the particular client. For starters, you must set the prices for the destinations you want to allow this client. To do this, go to the Prices section and create all prices by the countries or operations in these countries. Once prices have been created, the customer can start shipping, and make sure that the global routing for these countries already exists. Using the Notify on New or Current Prices button, you can notify the client about the current state of prices. With the planning mechanism, you can schedule price changes. To do this, you need to click on the watch icon in the line of the desired price and set the future price with the time of change. Click on Update. But you can create a personal route by clicking on the Create on the Personal Routing section. Select an operator for the country you want to ship to, and priority at interval of 20, where 20 has a higher priority than 100. In addition, you can route SMS exactly by phone number, text content of SMS, or sender name. But this is not a critical data, so we can already create a route. Also, you should select a pool for this route. Click on the Create button to save. This is our old basic settings required to send traffic. Using priorities, you can create multiple routing rules for a reserve or for different directions. Payments section, responsible for replenish the client's balance and issuing invoices for him. On the GATUM platform, two options for the client's work have been developed: prepaid and postpaid. Working on a prepaid basis means that the client will be able to send traffic only when his account has a positive balance, like here. If there is no positive balance, or it's not enough for the number of SMS that the client wants to send, then all SMS sent from Web Cabinet go to Waiting SMS tab. And those SMS that are sent via SMTP or API will simply not be accepted and will go to the blocked SMS page. This method is convenient to use when working with new clients. For example, they will deposit money into their account and you will be sure that they will not cheat on you. On the client's page, you can see the balance. It will be positive and it will be a green paid inscription next to it. Post-paid work means that you as an administrator set the client the amount of credit for which the client, without having paid, can be sent. Important, if you set the loan to 0, it will mean that the loan is unlimited. Plus, you can add a temporary loan. This is called overdraft. It is provided for a period specified by you and is added to the amount of the main loan. This is how it looks on the client's page. Above is the total amounts paid by client for the loan period you specified. Next comes the loan amount. And below the temporary loan amount comes. This payment method is convenient to use if the client does not know, for example, how much SMS he will send for a certain period and how much money he spent. It is more convenient for him to pay after the fact, at the end of the period, when there is an exact amount of his expenses. You can create payments and replenish the client's panels using the Create button in the Payments section. And you can create and issue an invoice for payment to the client using the Invoices section by clicking on the Create button here. For example, for this client, for the period by June, and click on Create. Section Replacement Rules, responsible for auto-replacement of SMS traffic content that will come from this client. Content Replacement Rules is an automated text replacement mechanism for SMS text. With the help of ready-made or created by you rules, you can regulate the content of SMS in accordance with your or general requirements. In this mechanism, it is possible to use both rules created by developers, they are called macros, or create your own based on the content of the traffic passing through your platform. You can create your own rules. For example, to replace the word code with the word password. To do this, you need to specify the search phrase in the searched phrase field, in this case code, and in the replacement field, specify the phrase you want to replace with, in this case, password. Click on the Save button and the rule will be applied to the client or aggregator, depending on who you created this rule for. But you can also use the rules created by our developers, macros. You can learn more about this in the video called Replacement Content Rules on our YouTube channel. Sender replacement rule is the rule for auto-changing the name of senders. If you don't want SMS sent in certain directions, for example, on behalf of TikTok, then you create the appropriate rule, give the installation to the system, and it will change it into the name or names you specified. If you have specified several new names, the system will choose randomly one, if founded on the content of the SMS. This functionality is very convenient to use if you send traffic to countries where it can be blocked for certain words or expressions. The next two sections is SMPP config and API config. These are sections where you connect the client through these protocols. GATUM is a fully fledged platform that can connect to providers using the SMPP protocol version 3.4 and can also accept connections from clients using the same SMPP protocol version 3.4. Also, our platform supports any kind of connection, transceiver, transmitter, or receiver, both for outgoing and incoming connections. After creating or registering a new client, he receives an account for the web mailing list. But moreover, through the same account, he can send SMS using the SMPP protocol. This requires your help. It is necessary to create an SMPP account for him or several SMPP accounts if the client plans to connect from the different platforms. If a client has several servers with which he sends traffic, you can create several SMPP accounts for him by the number of servers and specify their IP. This is done so that delivery reports are not lost. It is possible that if a client connects from different servers using the same login, then SMS comes from one server and the delivery report will go to another server. After all, the login is the same. Therefore, it is recommended to control this moment. This is how easy it is to create an SMPP account for client. And after you successfully connect the client, it will appear in the list in the upper right corner in the person icon. You can see more details about SMPP connections for a client in the SMPP connection video on our YouTube channel. If your client wants to send traffic through the API protocol, then you can configure this through our platform in the API config section. There are two ways to create a token for a client: through the admin panel and through the client panel. First, you can create a token through the admin panel. This section displays all the client's API tokens, and here you can create a new one. Click on Create button and system will independently generate a token for the client. You do not need to enter anything. And now the client can send traffic through this token. That is, now instead of authorization, not the username and password are used, but the generated token. The second way to create is through the client panel. Go to the client panel and the side menu, find the Control and API section, and all clients' tokens are displayed here, and he can also generate a new one here. Click on Generate, and a new one will appear in list. Below is an example of how to use token. The address to which you need to contact when sending, the client token, the phone number to which you want to send the SMS, the text content of SMS, and the name of sender. You can see more detail about connecting this protocol, setting up reports and sending SMS through it in the API connection video on our YouTube channel. It is also provided for setting via the REST API protocol on the GATUM platform. Find the video REST API connection on our YouTube channel for detailed instructions on how to connect this protocol. This is all the basic functionality for creating, configuring, and managing clients. Now we can move on to the Managers tab. On the platform, you can create a manager. This means access for your sales manager. who will control either the work of your suppliers or the work of your customers. There are several reasons for creating a manager. First, restricting access only for those clients and aggregator account that the manager sees, and opening possibilities for submitting your own content from the web interface. To connect a manager to the platform, you need to set up subdomains on which manager will work and create accounts for them by subdomains and bind to IP. To do this, when setting up a server on the GATUM platform via the link 5minutes.gatum.io, enter them. You have to click on the Servers tab, use the edit icon to enter the settings, and enter these subdomains to the field URL Manager subdomain. For example, and save changes. To create a manager, you need to go to the Managers tab via the side menu, press the green button New Manager, and fill in the following fields: login, password, name, telephone, email, his Skype, and photo if needed. Using this login and password, manager will enter the platform on the manager's subdomain. Click Create, and manager will appear in this list. In order to bind a manager to a specific client, you need to go to the editing of the client's profile. In the Options section, find the Managers field and select it. Then save your changes. This is how easy it is to create and assign a manager on the GATUM platform. Now we can go to the main section, namely Current Traffic, and create the main settings for sending traffic. First, you need to create an aggregator, provider, one or more through which your traffic will pass. Find the Aggregators section, and you get to a tab where information about all your aggregators is displayed, and where you can create new ones and manage them. In the row of each aggregator, the brief information is displayed, but by clicking on the eye icon in the Actions block, you can see full information about the aggregator, as well as edit this. To create a new one, click on Create an Aggregator and fill in all the required fields. Let the name be like this. You can give any name, but it should be in English and it should be intuitively clear who it is. IP. It can be IP or domain, it's up to you. Port. Login. And password. These credentials should be provided to you by your supplier. Choose a method of connecting to the aggregator bind. This is the default method, transceiver, but if you understand how other type of links can work, you can choose a different one. Set a positive balance. The speed of sending SMS, someone calls it TPS, time per second, but in any case, you need to ask the supplier about this parameter. Then select the type of connection to the provider. If you need to connect in another way, you can contact us. You also need currency and add email for different types of notifications. But for sending traffic, it's not a critical data, so you can fill it later. Click on Create. And after you create an aggregator, you can look at the phone's icon in the upper right corner. If it glows green, then the aggregator is successfully connected. Filtering at the top of the page will help you to find the right aggregator if you have a large list of them. Further, after creating the aggregators, we can distribute traffic between them. Pools are created in order to mix and distribute traffic between aggregators. But even if you don't want to mix, then the pool must be created for this aggregator in order to direct traffic to it. Find the Pools tab in the side menu. You are taken to a page where all information about the pools is displayed, where you can create a new one and find the ones you need using filtering. If you already have a large list of them, click on Create a Pool, fill in the name field, for example, select the aggregators and set the percentage of traffic for the aggregator. Mandatory, if you want to use several aggregators in the pool, you must select aggregators and set the percentage of traffic sharing between them. And of course, the sum of these percentages must be 100. Pools are created in order to mix aggregators and distribute traffic between them as a percentage. Click on Create and Pool will appear in the list. Now, after these settings, we can move on to creating global routes. Go to the General Routes tab. Earlier, when creating a client, we configured personal routes for it, which will work only for its traffic. Personal routing has a higher priority than general routing. In the same tab, you create routes that will work for all your clients on the platform who do not have personal routes installed. The setup process is exactly the same as in personal routing. Direction, pool, type of SMS, priority, and so on. The only difference is in the scope of the route for all clients. Next, we will move on to a cost prices. Go to the Source Prices tab. This tab displays all prices set for suppliers. If your provider already has a connection, routes, and pools, but there is no prices, you can configure them in this tab. If you try to send SMS with all the settings, but without the price, then this SMS will be blocked. You can create a price on the platform in two ways. Manually enter one by one, or upload a file of a specific format and type with all prices at once. When creating, you can set the price for all suppliers or for one on the platform. Set the price you need, set the rules for it, and click Save. You can find the price you need using the filtering at the top. You can search by direction, by type of SMS, aggregator, and so on. You can see a more detailed description of the process of setting prices in the video Creating a Cost Price on our YouTube channel. Now, after configuring this functionality, the platform is ready to send traffic. The Prefixes tab is the page that stores all MCC and MNC codes. They help to determine the system from which country and which operator the SMS came, and thereby determine the price and direction for it. More than 1,000 prefixes have been already loaded on our platform. You do not need to load them yourself, which greatly simplifies the process of setting up work. If you find any incorrect prefix, you can always correct it or add a new one. It should be noted that the platform recognizes phone numbers only in the international format, that is, without abbreviations. After creating the basic settings, you can proceed to viewing the tabs that are responsible for displaying the current traffic on the platform. The first tab, Moderation, is responsible for displaying the number of SMS that got to moderation for certain reasons. First, if the client has manual moderation, then each SMS is moderated, and if the client has automatic moderation and in some components a template from a list control text is found. You can configure the moderation type in the client data settings. To do this, you need to go to the settings of a specific client, so the edit icon, and select the type in moderation option. Save changes. The process of managing SMS for moderation is simple. If you click Approve on moderation for one or several SMS, they will go away in turn within 1 minute, go to the queue, and then to the SMS full data. If you click Deny on moderation for one or several SMS, then the funds will be returned to the client balance and NDRS will be returned too if the SMS was sent via SMPP API or REST API. You can also use the mechanism on Moderation tab at the top to redirect the SMS to another aggregator. If you want to do this, you need to select the SMS using the check mark on the left, then select aggregator to which you want to redirect SMS and click on Approve button. This SMS will be queued and sent. The limit mechanism was created in order to confirm the sending of certain amount of SMS during moderation. For example, your manager wants to check if the route works, and with 1000 SMS for moderation using the limit mechanism sends only 100. After successful delivery, he additionally confirms sending the rest of the SMS. In addition, during the moderation, you can postpone sending SMS until a specific date and time. Use a scheduling engine. You can use these mechanisms together and manage SMS moderation. There is also sender moderation in the system. This is designed so that you can protect your traffic from unnecessary content. For example, different countries have different rules that allow a certain set of sender names. If you have just started working with a client and cannot trust him with the freedom of action in the mailing list, then you can set him a set of approved sender names and see if he breaks the rules. To enable the function of controlling the sender's name for a specific client, you need to go to the client account settings. For more details, see the control of the sender's name video on our YouTube channel. And now in the admin panel, in Moderation tab, a new sender name will appear and will wait for approval or rejection. The line displays which customer requested the name, which name, and two actions buttons, approve and deny. The Queue of SMS tab is responsible for displaying SMS that are waiting to be sent in the queue online. Also, if a client or a supplier is blocked or SMS is planned for the future, the SMS will hang in the queue until the moment when it is allowed to be sent, when it will be unblocked, or the time will come to send, respectively. And of course, if the queue is large, then SMS corny will wait in the bins according to the FIFO, first input, first output scheme. In the first case, they are sent at the speed indicated by the provider in the settings. You can see this on the Aggregator page. In the second case, if SMS is sent without scheduling for a certain time, then it is sent in a matter of seconds. If the sending of SMS is scheduled for a certain time or at a certain time interval, then it will be sent by that time or evenly distributed in the interval. In the latter case, SMS in the queue from the blocked client will be expected in this step until you forcibly send them or reject. To forcibly send SMS from a blocked client, you need to check the Send Force mark and click on the Reroute button. They will be sent and the report will appear in the SMS Full Data tab. In order to reject SMS, you must select the desired SMS and put tick in the Reject SMS box and then on the Reroute button. This SMS will disappear and the money will not be withdrawn from the client's balance, since they were not sent to the supplier. In order to redirect SMS from the queue to another provider, you can use the redirection mechanism at the top of the page. Select the SMS you need, a new provider, and click on Reroute button. You can also reschedule the sending of SMS. For this, use the planning mechanism at the top of the page. Select the desired SMS and the desired time for this sending and click on Reroute button. SMS will be waiting for their turn at the time you have appointed. You can use all these mechanisms separately or together. Also, the selected SMS can be changed in priority and they will be sent faster or later according to the priority. It is important to remember that if the sending of SMS is taking place at the moment, you need to have time to change the SMS settings, so the blocking of client may come in handy here. And in order to find the SMS you need from the large queue, you can use the filtering at the top of the page. We made the filtering detailed enough so that you can quickly manage the SMS you need. Another important tab for analyzing current traffic is SMS Full Data. This tab is responsible for displaying reports on sent SMS for the last 10 days, only for the last 10 days. This tab is one of the main ones for your managers. All SMS in this page have already been sent to the supplier. One line displays brief information about one sent SMS with all parts of this SMS. On the right side of the page, you can see the columns that you can even make as a screenshot and send to someone. This is just non-commercial information. and on the left side is commercial data. Clicking on the eye icon brings you up a detailed SMS report so that you can see all the information. At the bottom of the detailed report is a summary of the information that you can copy and send by email, or as you prefer, to the supplier or someone else. We have created a detailed filtering so that it is convenient for you to find the most convenient and relevant information about send SMS through your platform. You can filter SMS by vendor ID, sender name, aggregator, destination, username, etc. But most of the time you will use the filter over the phone. You can specify several numbers separated by a comma. If you want to export the filtered data, you can click on the Export button and wait 10-15 minutes for the server to generate the file, and you can load it from the Reporting Files menu. Another convenient and effective feature on the GATUM platform is the ability to receive incoming SMS from end users. This is convenient if you want to use two-way mailing and communicate with the client, when the client sends SMS to the number assigned to you. If your client wants to keep in touch with his customers and receive feedback from them, then you need to set up receiving incoming SMS for him. First of all, to get started, you need to connect to a provider who will send you inbox SMS. This can be a provider operator or provider's inbox. After that, go to the settings for receiving incoming SMS. To do this, you need to go to the Customers page, where you can edit it and find the Incoming SMS tab in the upper right corner. Click on the Create button. In order to receive incoming SMS and collect phone numbers, as well as for SMS to be displayed in the office of the selected client, you need to enter the phone number to which SMS will be received from buyers. The short one is 3-5 digits and the long one is 6-16 digits. Next is the prefix field. It can be empty, then all SMS to this number will go to the client panel, or it can be filled with any value in the form of the word, number, sign, or etc. without spaces. Then only those SMS that start with this prefix will be sent to the client panel. Often the prefix is used if they want to sell the same number to several customers. This is necessary setting for the client to receive incoming SMS. Incoming SMS from all your clients displayed together in the Incoming SMS tab. You can find it in the side menu. Here, row by row, information is displayed for each incoming SMS. Sender, number, SMS text, which client it came to, through which aggregator, and by which route. The phone column displays the number that you added to the client's account. Previous setting. It is worth noting that incoming SMS to a certain client in his panel will be displayed only if a number that accepts SMS is added to his account. Until the number is added, the incoming SMS tab is not even displayed in the client panel. As soon as you add at least one number, this tab will appear in the client's panel and all incoming SMS will get there. here it is. If you have a lot of incoming SMS, then you need to find some specific one. Then you can use the filtering at the top of the page, in the client panel and in the admin panel. In addition to the basic setting for incoming SMS, there is also a special setting in the main client profile. Go to the profile setting. On the right, you will see Transfer SMS via SMPP. If the setting is enabled and the client is connected to us via SMPP protocol, then we in turn will send this SMS to him via the same protocol. Of course, this incoming SMS will remain in the account and will display it even if we send it in parallel using the SMPP protocol. Here are the main settings for receiving incoming SMS on your platform. At any time, our developers can implement your vision of receiving incoming SMS on the platform. Let's consider another useful platform function, the queue of reports on SMPP, API and REST API, and SMPP parts of SMS. This is displayed in the Responses section on the side menu. First, let's feature out the SMPP parts tab. Here, all the parts of the SMS sent via the SMPP protocol are collected in order to be sent to the end user on the phone in one go. It happens that some part of the SMS sent via the SMPP protocol is lost and the client receives an incomplete SMS. Then the meaning of such an SMS is also lost. Therefore, our developers have created a function that collects all parts of the SMS and sends them in one go, thereby preserving the integrity of the SMS. If any part of the SMS sent via the SMPP protocol is lost, then the entire SMS will not be sent. In the line of each part, brief information on it is displayed. Using the filtering, you can find the part you want if you have time before it is sent. As for the tabs SMPP dealers, REST API dealers, API dealers, then a queue of reports that should be returned to your clients via SMS sent through the appropriate protocols is displayed here. The queue works here in a very similar way to the queue of SMS tab. You can see how reports are sent to clients on a first come, first served basis. In the line for each report, brief information on SMS is displayed. Using filtering, you can find the report you need if you manage to catch it before sending it. Next, you can see a tab called Blocked SMS. This includes SMS that clients tried to send to us by any of the available methods, but were not created for any reasons. It is worth nothing that the payment for blocked SMS was not charged from the client. The client's balance was not changed. In the line of each blocked SMS, brief information about it and the reason for blocking are displayed in the error column. After reading the reason, you and your managers can eliminate it and ask the client to resend the SMS. In the blocked SMS video on our YouTube channel, you can see a detailed overview of this step and a list of reasons why SMS can be blocked. The currency rates tab is responsible for displaying up-to-date information on the rates of those currencies that are configured on your platform. By default, the platform displays euro and dollars. But by contacting our developers, you can add more currencies. With the help of integration with currency exchange services, namely Privat24 and Foreign Exchange Rates API, the exchange rate on this page is automatically updated every hour. It is very easy to connect the integration. Go to the Marketplace section, click on Applications, select one of the aforementioned services from the list, click on Airplane icon and complete the setup. You can see the detailed installation process for the integration of these services in the Marketplace Privat24 video on our YouTube channel. Thanks to these integrations, you can always refer to the current exchange rate without wasting time on other sites or applications. In addition, on this same page, you can convert a currency and compare it with other in price using the conversion mechanism at the top. To do this, select the currency you need, enter the number of units, and click on Consider button. On the right, in the same line, the ratio of the specified amount of currency to all others will be appeared. The Reporting Files tab is responsible for generating and storing reports downloaded from the SMS Full Data tab. Since the platform is used by many clients and reports from the SMS Full Data tab need to be downloaded every 10 days, the flow of generating these reports is quite large. Therefore, the duration of its formation can take about 15 minutes. Let's take a look at the process. On the SMS Full Data tab, you click on Export button and confirm the generation of the report. Then go to the Reporting Files tab and see the report for this date is in the queue for generation. First, it will be assigned in the In Queue status. When it is ready to download, then in Ready cell, and you will see a clickable download by clicking on which the file will be downloaded to your device. This is how the process of unloading data from the SMS Full Data tab takes place. If you need to unload SMS that are older than 10 days, then such report must be carried out in the client's cabinet. And in the admin panel, there is no such possibility on security issues, so that the data does not leak. The next section, Statistic, is responsible for analyzing your activities. The General Statistic tab displays information about your achievements for the entire period of work on the platform. In order for you to conveniently conduct analytics of your activities, provide reports to clients and partners, we have created Statistic with detailed filtering. This is our pride, because now you can quickly find information you need and analyze its effectiveness. At the top of the page, there are filters that you can use to search for information you need. At the bottom, by the default, statistical information about the activities of your customers is displayed. How many SMS sent, delivered, the price of this SMS, price of selling and buying, your profit, and so on. The lowest line calculates the sum or average for each data type. For example, if you want to see your earnings from one client for a certain month, you can use the following filters. Select a client. Using the Ctrl-Shift key combination, you can select several positions in filters. Monthly grouping, and the months you need. Click on the Find button and the information you need will be displayed below. You can also use grouping by day, and you will be showing the activity statistics for each day for the selected period. Often, data from general statistics is used to bill a client. To do this, in the filtering, select the client you need, grouping by country and operator, and as well as the period you need. Click on Find button, and the data for the selected period on the client's traffic will appear at the bottom. You can export data using the Export button. The CSV file is downloaded to your device. To reset the filtration, click on the Reset button. And so, this step will help you analyze your activities and the activities of your customers, costs and profits. You can filter and manage data as you like. Mix filters among themselves. Filter statistic by sender, directions, or aggregators. Customize the display in different currencies and time zones. Use several grouping at the same time and download the result at any time. Moreover, all data is displayed in statistics in real time without delay. Now we can move on to the finance section. It is responsible for generating and invoicing your clients. This mechanism is currently under improvement, but it is working. To begin with, in order to bill a customer, you need to create a brand on behalf on which the bill will be issued. To do this, go to the Brands page, click on Create button, and fill in all the fields. For example, like here. All this information will be displayed on the invoice issued to the client. Further, in order for invoice to be successfully generated, you need to create a company that owns the brand, a legal entity, and associated with the brand. This can be done on the Enterprise page using the Create button. Further, on the page for Editing Client profile, the corresponding information must be entered in the company and company credentials field. Below, in the Billing, in the Enterprise field, you will need to select the company on behalf of which the invoice will be issued. Here you can also set up automatic generation and invoicing for clients. In the Dates for Invoices, separated by commas, field, specify the days of the months to which you want to invoice. Check the box to send stats and send invoices. Save your details, your account, and go to the Invoices page under Finance. You can create an account for a certain period. Then the system will automatically calculate the amount. The Create button. Or you can issue an invoice for a certain amount. Create for amount button. After the invoice is generated, it will appear in the list, where you, in the download block, can download the PDF version of the invoice, and a CSV file with the statistic for the selected period. The issued invoice will also appear in the Clients panel in the Invoices tab. Here. You can only issue an invoice to the client's main account. It does not work for the linked accounts. The Firewall subsection is responsible for protecting your traffic from unnecessary content. Using ready-made filters, creating new and adding to the blacklist number, you can control the quality of sent traffic and block unnecessary content. Let's take a look at everything in turn. The Existing Filters tab stores examples of SMS that were sent earlier and the result, allow or deny, that you clicked. If the SMS got to moderation and you allowed it, another SMS will come with the same sender text, content, and sent to the same provider. Then it will no longer be moderated and will immediately go to the queue. And of course, if you have banned SMS and the same will come, then it will immediately deviate. Thus, the memorization of your actions is realized, so that you do not have to double the work. The Control Text tab was created in order to create filters that will catch illegal traffic. Thus, SMS with the filter installed will not be sent to the end user on the phone, and this will not give you any trouble. You can create this filtering using the Create Template button. You are taken to a page where you need to enter the word or phrase you are looking for, choose where exactly to look for it in the SMS, and determine the type of this expression. It can be banal, phrase search, or regular expression. Click on Create button, and this pattern will be added to the list of filters. Using filtering above, you can find the one you need if you have already a large list of them. In the Blacklist tab, you can create and control the list of phone numbers to which you want to block sending traffic. It is worth remembering that the phone number added in this tab will apply to all customers on your platform. If you want to set a personal blacklist of numbers for a specific client, then you will need to do this through the client panel. Or the client himself can form and maintain it. You can see how this can be done later in the video when we move on to the overview of the client panel, or on our YouTube channel in the video Creating a Blacklist. You can add a number to the global blacklist in two ways: manually adding one number to the list, or by uploading a file with numbers. It is important to remember that the system successfully reads numbers only in the international format. You can add a number manually in the line opposite the Add button. It is also important when adding a number to add a comment. As practice shows, after a while it will be easier for you to identify the reason why the number is on the blacklist. This also happens. Enter the number in the international format there, add comments if necessary, and click on Add button. The phone number will appear in the list on this page. To download a file with many numbers, you need to click on the blue button with the folder icon. The file must be in CSV format, like this. Add comments as needed and click on the Add button. All numbers from the file will also be added to the global list of numbers. Also, using the filtering, at the top of the page you can find any number from the list. For example, if the SMS matches the filtered created in the Control Text tab and does not go through the blacklist in the blacklist tab, then this SMS will be blocked and not sent to the end user on the phone. Important: the blacklist can be disabled in the client profile. Setting: no blacklist. Disabled, abled. Now we can go to the config section, namely the permissions tab. This is a tab with which you can grant access to individual sections and platform functions for administrators and managers, depending on their permissions. To restrict or extend access for administrators, you need to go to the administrators page in the permissions section and click on his name, which is highlighted in blue. You will be redirected to a page where you can use a check mark to select the access level for this administrator. The same process is for managers. Only in this case, you need to go to the managers page in the permissions section. With this mechanism, administrators and managers will have access only to this functionality and information that has been authorized by you. Another submenu under Settings is Product Type. New products for mass customer management are created here. Let's take a closer look. When you build up a large customer base, you see that for many customers, the settings for routes and prices may be the same. With the large number of clients, manually configuring traffic becomes a long and tedious process. Therefore, our platform has a unique function: templates for setting routes and prices by directions. Then you just enable this template product in the client's account setting, and it is automatically applied to it. To create a product, click on the Create Product button on the Product Type page. Give product a name, prioritize it, add a description if needed. You can configure it so that it will be applied by default to all customers. You can also choose whether the customer will see in their dashboard whether they have a product turned on or not. This can be ideal if you provide customers with packages to choose from and he sees that he bought this one. Clients without products and with products can work on our platform at the same time. So if you create a product, this does not mean that it will somehow influence existing clients. It will only affect those to whom it will be installed in the future. For the full operation of the product, it is necessary to configure the product prices and product routes for it. It is recommended, first of all, to add rows to new product. To do this, go to the Current Traffic, Products, Common Roads tab. Create a new road or edit the previous one. In the settings of the roads, in the product type field, you need to select the appropriate product. Then this road will be added to the product package and applied to the settings when the product is turned on. To add prices to a product, click on the Common Prices in the Products subsection on the side menu. Note that it only appears when at least one create product on the product type page. The principles of creating prices is the same as in the Source Prices tab. Only here you specify the prices at which you will sell SMS to your customers. They can also be downloaded manually, one by one, or using a file with set of prices. In the settings, you just need to specify the price for each product. Here in the client's cabinet, client can see the product applied to him. Also, after you have installed the product for any client, you can still set individual prices for him. And they will overlap the prices of the product. But if the client has been working for a long time and he had individual prices, then after installing the product, they will no longer be relevant. Let's move on to the Library submenu. In simple words, this is a subsection where various characteristics are displayed. For example, the Payment Methods tab is responsible for displaying the following characteristics: by what method the client made the payment. This is done for the convenience of keeping records. In this tab, you can create methods that the client can use to pay. In our case, it will be cash and online transfer. And then, when creating a payment, on each page, you will determine by what method you received the money. To create a method, you need to click on the Create button on the Payment Methods page, enter the value, and save. To indicate these methods when making deposit, you need to specify the methods you need in the payment time field during the creation of payment. As I described earlier, this will simplify your financial aspect of your business. Also works with the Aggregator Types tab. This is where you create the types of channels through which the aggregator traffic passes. You can specify this method when creating a common price or a source prices tabs. In the aggregator type field, you need to select the appropriate one in order to then, using filters, Find the prices you need. This list of characteristics tabs in the library subsection is constantly updated. If you need any additional characteristics, you can contact our developers and they will create it especially for you. We are now moving on to the last subsection of the admin panel, which is called Marketplace. The GATUM platform is very flexible, and our developers are constantly adding new features for the convenience and efficiency of your work. That is why the platform has the ability to integrate with third-party services. This is done in order to save you time and automate your workflow as much as possible. Each of the services presented in the list performs its own function, which saves you time. Let's see what these services are. Go to the Applications page. This page contains all services available for integration. This list will be constantly updated as the platform improves. So, Privat24 and Foreign Exchange Rates API provide up-to-date exchange rate information. After integration, currency rates on the Currency Rates tab will be automatically updated every hour. Gas Innovation, Coin Payments, GoURL, Capitalist, and Fondi Payments application allow the client to top up his balance from his account online. After the integration one of the services in the client panel in the Add Credits tab, it will be possible to replenish your balance online. The Gmail application is designed to automatically send all kinds of notifications by mail to the client. Notifications of small balance, price updates, etc., and send it to you. Slack and Team Chat applications are designed to inform Slack or Team Chat about important events, registration of new client from the web, small balance, etc. Each service has its own individual setting. You can watch the detailed process of setting up each service in the video that begins with the word Marketplace on our YouTube channel. As previously stated, the GATUM platform supports a variety of connection types, but that's not all. For your clients, as they say for retail, there is an opportunity to create SMS and send them from your web account. In the client panel, you can create a single and bulk mailing, schedule it, track statistics, edit a profile, etc. There are 4 ways to enter a client's account through the admin panel. First, use the login icon in the specific customer actions section. To do this, find the client's module in the side menu, click on it, and follow the steps outlined above. Second, use In Cabinet button on the client's page. To do this, find the client's module in the side menu, click on the name for a specific client, scroll down and find the Green In Cabinet button on the left. Third, click on the client's profile photo. Find the client's module in the side menu, click on the name of the specific client and click on the photo in the upper left corner. Fourth, click on the submenu to login the client in any menu where you can see the login. To provide the client with access to the web platform, you need to create a subdomain where the client panel will be hosted, login, and password. Well, or the client can independently register via the web interface on his subdomain. Going to the client panel, you can see that the main page is almost no different from the admin panel. It is also displays information about the amount and quality of the sent traffic by the client. Today, above the menu, the client can see the current state of his balance, but the menu itself and its content are radically different from the admin panel. The main functionality of the client's web account is the creation and sending of SMS mailings. Let's take a closer look at the client panel and the functionality in it. There are also 4 main sections in the side menu. Section SMS Campaign, responsible for the preparation and creating of single and bulk mailings. The Reports section is responsible for displaying the results of the client's activities. Finance section, responsible for controlling the financial aspect of the client's activities. And the Control section, responsible for editing the client profile and creating API tokens. In the SMS Campaign section, the first is the SMS Message submenu. In this step, in which the client can create new SMS messages and sends them to the provider. Here, the key fields are: set name of SMS campaign. You need to set the name of the SMS campaign in which this or these SMS will be sent. It must be unique. Sender. Here you need to specify the name of the sender with which SMS will be sent to the end user to the phone number. Enter text of your message. Here you enter the text, the content with which the SMS will be sent. The phone list is a field in which you either enter phone numbers manually where you want to send SMS, or select one of the databases of numbers created by the client earlier. We will consider this process in more detail later in the video. You can also watch the video creating a database on our YouTube channel. All other fields are filled in by default. The Start of Date Mailing field is responsible for the date of sending this SMS campaign. By default, this field with the current date. But you can schedule an SMS campaign to be sent on any date you need. The Sent From and Sent To fields are responsible for the interval during which SMS will be sent from this company. If there is no interval, then they will be sent at one time. If there is interval, then SMS will be evenly distributed when sending. In the Term of Life of SMS field, you can set the lifetime of SMS from the campaign on the client's phone. On this step, you can set both a single SMS. For this, you just need to set one number in the phone list field, and mass mailing. For this, you just need to specify several numbers in the phone list field or select the number base you created earlier. After you have filled in the required fields, you click on Send button. SMS from this campaign you just created will go to the SMS queue. Of course, only unique numbers from all selected bases or entered numbers will be selected and will be sent to the end user to the phone number. The second submenu is Messages Templates, a tab where your clients can create templates for SMS and save their time spent on mailing. When you click on Create a Template button, you will be taken to a page where you can create a template for SMS. Here you will need to enter a unique name for the template in the title field. In the content field, enter the text you want to send using the template. On the right, you can see inserts for the dynamic substitution. They are used to personalize messages in bulk mailings. For this, the fields corresponding to each insert must be filled in the database of the telephone numbers. After you have written a ready-made template, click on the Save button and template will appear in this list. In order to apply the template to your newsletter, you need to go to the SMS message page of the side menu. In the Select Template line, select the template you need and its content will automatically be loaded into the entered text of your message box. After you have created a template, it will appear on the page where you can edit it or delete. Filtering at the top of the list will help you find the template you want if you already have a lot of them. It is convenient to use templates for mass and recurring mailings. The next submenu, SMS Scheduler, is responsible for storing scheduled SMS campaigns. Remember that we can plan them when creating an SMS campaign on the SMS message page. In the start date of mailing, the list field. You can schedule an SMS to be sent on the date you need as well as at the specific time. On the scheduler page, the scheduled SMS will be displayed until their sending time arrives. They will also be displayed in the Queue of SMS tab in the admin panel in the same way. Here you can cancel sending SMS by clicking on the Delete All or Delete Selected button. Using the filtering at the top of the list, you can find the SMS you need if you already have a lot of planned ones. You can watch a more detailed description of the SMS scheduling process in the SMS Scheduler video on our YouTube channel. The last submenu in this section is Databases. Is responsible for creating, managing, and storing customer databases. Here you can combine telephone numbers into separate packages, bases, and also create lists. Bases, personal blacklist of telephone numbers. It is logical that the Create Base button is responsible for creating this database, and the Blacklist button is responsible for editing the blacklist. The Databases page displays a list of previously created databases. In the line of the Separate database, there is Actions block, which contains icons with which you can view, edit, export, and delete databases. You can upload numbers to the database in two ways: enter each number manually or upload a file with multiple numbers. But first, you need to create a new database, assign it to a unique name. If necessary, you can use the mechanism of personalizing SMS and birthday greetings, and click on the Save button. The base will appear in the list, and by clicking on the eye icon on the right of the line, you will be taken to a page where you can add number. The Add One Number is responsible for adding one number to the database. The Upload Numbers button is responsible for uploading a file with numbers and information if necessary about them. It is important to remember that the file must be in the CSV format. The Databases page also has a mechanism for copying and merging databases. It is located at the bottom of the page. You can watch a more detailed description of the process of creating a database in the video Creating a Database on our YouTube channel. By filtering at the top of the list in a specific database, you can find the user you want very quickly. And search by number on the database page will help you check the availability of a number in any database. The blacklist of numbers is created in a similar way to the creation of database of numbers. You can enter each number manually or upload a file with multiple numbers already in there. The next section of the menu, Reports, is responsible for displaying all the client's activities for all time. Let's move on a detailed look at each submenu. The Statistical Report submenu displays general information on the activity of this client for a specific period. By filtering from above, the client can find needed information and group statistical information according to his needs. You can find information for a certain period and for a certain SMS campaign, as well as group data by time, intervals, operators, directions, and so on. This page displays information on what statuses were assigned to each SMS from all your traffic, what are the total costs, and etc. It is very convenient for the client to use the information if he wants to summarize the costs for a certain period of time. If the client wants to know which SMS were sent, delivered, etc., he needs to go to the Detailed Statistics page. Here, also using the filtering at the top of the page, you can also find the SMS you need. For a certain period, by the sender's name, phone number, etc., and with all the detailed information about them. The data is displayed for the last 10 days. In addition, you can export the same data for any period of time. To do this, you need to click on the Export button, and the file will be sent to the Reporting Files tab, where you can expect it to be generated. It will take no more than 10 minutes, since the system works with a large amount of data and it takes time to generate your report. Here on the Reporting Files page, you can download the report by clicking on the blue Download button. This is how your client can work with statistics on the platform and analyze their activities. Now let's move on to the Incoming SMS tab. At first, when registering a new client, this tab does not appear in the Client panel menu. Only when the administrator or manager adds a number for incoming SMS to the client in the settings. I showed these settings earlier when examining the admin panel menu. In the client panel, after all the required administrator settings, the incoming SMS page will display all SMS sent to the registered numbers of the corresponding client. The text of SMS, the sender's number, the delivery date, and so on will be displayed here. Filtering from the top will help you find the desired SMS if you have a large number of them. If you want to add some of the numbers to your database so as not to lose the end customer, then you can do this using the Add to Address Book button. There you either select an existing base of numbers or create a new one. This will make it easy for you to save leads and work with them further. You can also export data from this tab. The file will go to the Incoming Files submenu where you can download it. Let's move on to the Waiting SMS tab. This includes SMS from which the client did not have enough funds on the balance to send. It would be difficult and long to the client to search for which numbers were not sent SMS from the campaign. Therefore, our developers have created a function in which SMS which did not have enough money to send from mass mailing go to the waited SMS tab in the client panel. After the client's balance is replenished, this SMS can be sent by clicking on the Send All or Send Selected SMS button. You can delete unnecessary SMS using the Delete All or Delete Selected SMS button. It is worth noting that SMS sent only from the web panel, not via SMPP or API, can get into this tab, in which case they will be lost. This is how this function can protect the client from losing SMS when there is a lack of balance. The Blocked SMS tab is responsible for storing SMS, the sending of which was blocked for certain reasons. Here in the line of which SMS, the reason for this blocking is displayed. And you can analyze if the cost requires the help of a manager or administrator, or you can fix it yourself. You can see a detailed description of the reasons for blocking SMS in the video Blocked SMS on our YouTube channel. To quickly find the SMS you need, use the filtering at the top. The Reports section ends with the SMS Campaigns tab. All your campaigns from the entire period of activity are displayed here, as well as information about the amount and quality of traffic in these campaigns. Here you can see the name of the campaign, which text of the SMS was sent, the name of sender, the number of SMS, and etc. The Finance section is responsible for displaying the financial aspect of the client's activities. The Prices tab contains a list of prices for SMS by directions that are available to the clients and created by the manager and administrator. For each direction, the method of deducting money, the type of SMS, and the price is displayed. And in the brackets, it is calculated how many SMS to send there is enough money on the client's balance. Customers use this tab to monitor current SMS prices and plan the amount to send. If the clients want to look at the number of packages provided to him and how much money he spent for each, then he can go to the Financial Report tab and read this information. The Invoices tab displays all invoices issued to this customer. He can immediately download them and pay. If your client wants to replenish his balance on his own, then he needs to go to the Add Credits tab. It will appear here. Important: the possibility for the client to independently replenish his balance online will appear only when you connect the integration with one of the online payment services from the Marketplace in the admin panel. And the last section of the client panel is Control. In the Profile tab, the client can edit the basic information on his account, change his name, mail, phone number, password, etc. The bottom displays information about the loans provided to the client. If the client wants to start sending messages via the API protocol, then he can immediately create a token for himself, which he will use when sending messages. To do this, he needs to click on the Generate button in the API tab, and the system will generate a new token. An example of using this token is shown at the bottom of the page. Also, all generated tokens in the client panel are displayed in the admin panel. In the client's account, it also works in the opposite direction. This is functionality presented in the client panel. Here it is enough to simply create a single and mass mailing, track the results of your activities, and manage the traffic for the client. Convenience is that the administrator and manager has access to this panel and can help and manage the client on his own. Our platform has the ability to provide that access to our suppliers. Of course, all providers have their own billing, but there are some providers that have not yet launched their platform. Usually, there are providers offering SIM routes. To correctly configure access, you need to set the subdomain for access in the URL supplier subdomain field in the server settings, following this link right here. After that, in the menu Profiles, look for Suppliers tab, create an account for the supplier. He will use the login and password for authorization on his domain. And bind this account to the all aggregators accounts in the supplier field. In the supplier's office, he will have access to general statistics, where he will see the number of SMS sent to these aggregators and, of course, the amount of money that was spent on it. As you can see from the presentation, the GATUM platform is maximally focused on convenient, fast, and efficient work in the field of SMS messaging. An intuitive, web-based admin and client panel speeds up the process of setting up mailing traffic, and all the functionality is aimed at ensuring its maximum efficiency. Moreover, the GATUM platform is constantly being improved. New functions and options are added, all thanks to the fact that we are in constant communication with the clients and adapt the platform to their needs. At the moment, the platform is already being used in Europe and Asia. Register, connect the platform in 5minutes.gatum.io and start sending SMS today, or contact us for further cooperation. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, where video about all platform updates are regularly released. Have a good day!